right. I figured let's go ahead and get started. Thank you, everybody, for getting up early on a parent-teacher conference day. Hopefully, woo! So hopefully you've had a chance to have some coffee and a pastry, and we've got some water over there too. Help yourself on your way out. There's plenty if you want to take some to work with you or home. My name is Jennifer Wolfsey. I'm the Family Recruitment and Retention Coordinator for Kansas City Public Schools. Welcome. We're so excited to have you here this morning. These are new. We're trying something where the goal at the end of this session is for you to really understand what Kansas City Public Schools has to offer your middle and high school students, soup to nuts. At the end, if you don't mind, it's a pretty large slide deck, but we go through it pretty quick. If you'll hold your questions to the end, we'll kind of hit all those at one time and capture those. But just thanks for coming out early on a Thursday morning. So here's kind of how we're going to go through this. We're going to give you an overview of schools in the Kansas City area, and then we'll take you through a day in the life of a student at KCPS who's in middle and high school. We'll cover arts, athletics, activities, and then also I've added another slide today. We'll talk about safety, counseling, and student supports. And then we'll close with enrollment and admissions because we are getting ready to start, believe it or not, the enrollment for next school year. And then we'll end with questions. So many of you, because you're here, probably already have older children or getting close to older children or children in our system. So it's not really like this is your first child coming through. And so you probably already know there are lots of choices in Kansas City. And what we're trying to do here is let you get to know us a little bit better and what we have to offer. So a picture does typically tell 1,000 words. And so on the left-hand side are all the schools available to you as parents that reside in the Kansas City Public School boundaries. They consist of Kansas City Public Schools, which I'll go over in a minute in detail. There's charter schools, they're in yellow. And then we have independent and faith-based schools as well. But on the right-hand side are the Kansas City Public Schools. Red are your neighborhood schools. Kind of, I mean, I don't want to date myself, but that's how I grew up, where you went kind of matriculated from elementary to middle and high, and it was based on your neighborhood. The green represents what we call our signature schools. Those are schools that are theme-based. They were from the magnet days. They're the magnet and themes that have kind of stood the test of time. We'll talk about them as well. A little bit deeper on this. So public neighborhood schools, as I mentioned, they're run by Kansas City Public Schools. They are free. They're defined by school boundaries, usually around neighborhoods, organized into a kindergarten all the way through 12th grade feeder pattern. So when you enter, you know that the next stop on that journey is that middle school and that high school. And it's as simple as you enroll. You are guaranteed a seat in your public neighborhood school. Now, we also have public choice schools in Kansas City, some of which are run by us. I mentioned those are those signature theme schools. And then we also have charters. Those are independently run. They are all free, but they are not necessarily defined by boundaries. So in the case of signature schools, those pull from the entire KCPS boundary. So you can live anywhere within our boundaries and apply to a signature school. Charters they can, I don't know the details on each one, they can have some neighborhood defined boundaries that they pull from as a part of their original charter, if they choose to do that. Some of the charters are K through 12, but not all. You must apply for a seat when it's a choice school. Our signature schools have requirements. They're around attendance, behavior, coursework. For PASEO, you need to, for the high school level, you'll do an audition for the fine and performing arts. But in these cases, if more students apply than there are seats, there will be a lottery run when it comes to choice schools. And then, of course, we have independent and faith-based schools. They do charge tuition, not necessarily defined by boundaries, also apply for a seat, and they may require screening or a test for admission. And for the brave-hearted, there is homeschooling. I should have put that on there. I wanted to just spend a few minutes or seconds really on neighborhood schools. They're so important. They really strengthen the community, and really what happens is that school and that school community becomes your extended family, your village that helps in raising your child. Kids do, families also get that sense of belonging. Like I said, they become your extended family. And one of the other nice things about the neighborhood schools is kind of that not stress about knowing that that group of people will move from elementary to middle to high, and you really don't have to think about it. It is just part and parcel of the process. And again, all you have to do is enroll. Our signature schools, I'll talk quickly about the themes. They allow students and families that are looking for something a little more specific. We have our African-centered studies over at AC Prep, and that goes K through 8. We have 2 Montessoris in Kansas City. We have Border Star and we have Holiday Montessori, that's pre-K through 6. We have 2 foreign language immersion schools. One is Carver. It goes K through 6, and it's Spanish dual language. And then we have Foreign Language Academy. It's K through 8, and it is Spanish and Mandarin Chinese. And it's also an international baccalaureate school. I always forget to mention that. We also have a Fine and Performing Arts middle and high school. That's Paseo. And then we have a college prep middle and high. That is Lincoln College Prep middle and high, 6th through 12th. You must be a Kansas City Public School resident. You have to reside in our boundaries, meet the minimum requirements for the signature schools, and complete an application. And again, more seats than applicants than seats, we will conduct a lottery. But here's the good news. Every KCPS student receives these things: free transportation K through 12, free breakfast and lunch, because we are what's considered a community eligible school district, so everybody gets free breakfast and lunch. We have free before and after care in elementary provided by a wonderful partner named Link. And I believe it begins at 7 a.m. and ends at 6 p.m. And we have, and you'll hear a lot about these two in the next couple speakers, very rigorous curriculum at all of our schools, and very robust wraparound students and family supports. At this time, I'd love to turn it over to Dr. Phil Jones to talk about the academics.
Thanks. So one of the things I definitely wanted to say is that for our grades K through 8, the main focus is to make sure that students are high school ready. Once they get into high school, the main focus is to make sure that they're college, career, and workforce ready. So with that being said, one of the things that we offer in all of our schools, including our neighborhood schools, is the opportunity for our middle school students to earn high school credit while still in middle school. The courses that the state allows us to do this in would be Algebra 1, Physics First, which is our physical science course, and then those students that are taking those advanced level or those higher level world language courses. That would be like our French 2, Spanish 2, and French 3, Spanish 3, and Chinese 3. In addition to that, again, to make sure that students are high school ready, we start career exploration in the middle school, at the middle school level. And we're really talking about 6th grade, moving all the way through 7th and 8th grade. And this is worked into the actual Encore offering. So it's not something that is an add-on, but is actually baked into the curriculum. The other part of this is making sure that there are real-world opportunities for all of our students. So with Project Lead the Way, again, in middle school, we start laying the foundations for the PLTW courses that they could take when they are in high school. And so we're looking at design and modeling that kind of lines up with some of the engineering that we're doing, engineering and environment, that's where we would have things like bio and agriculture. We do have green agriculture as well. And then the application creator would be like the technology strand of that. Now, once we get into high school, then again, it's college and career ready or workforce ready. So there are numerous AP courses that would be advanced placement, as well as our dual credit courses. And we do dual credit through UMKC, MCC, Penn Valley, as well as UCM, University of Central Missouri. In addition to that, we have a lot of courses that are specific to individuals, students that are at various English language proficiencies. These are our ESOL courses, and these courses are designed specifically for those students that come to us from various countries, various communities where English is not that first language. And again, as I said, Project Lead the Way really becomes more a part of pathways toward careers in high school. We have 5 Project Lead the Way courses in each of these 3. So we have some that are specific to biomedical, some engineering, as well as the computer science and cyber technology. And with the cyber technology, we definitely look at cyber defense and cybersecurity in that vein. Now, one of the things that is very unique about our district is that we offer 3DE. And at the present time, we're the only school district in Missouri that offers 3DE. Think of it as a competency-based program that really gets students linked to some of the industries, but also some of the decision makers for companies that are in the area. And if you would click onto this link for the video, and when you click onto that, just want to show you guys a brief kind of like expose that was done by Channel 41 on the students at Northeast High School.
DE. It's a program in schools all across the country.
It creates engaging learning environments, empowering students with the knowledge, skills, and confidence they need. KSHP 41 News reporter Megan Abundis visited the only school in Missouri with this program.
Ideas for box tops, your vision board. Why did you put the things on your vision board, okay?
It's presentation day for some Northeast high schoolers.
Oh, yeah.
Lyric Hearn has worked hard for this moment.
I think it sets us apart mainly because we are seen as underdogs with being where we are and where we live.
This is a big day. I think they're a little nervous because they're like, oh my gosh, there's so many people here.
We're one of the largest advertising firms in the country, and we're based right here in Kansas City.
Despite the nerves, these 3DE students are presenting their advertising ideas using skills they've learned through a program only offered at this Missouri school.
All of these skills, the critical analytical thinking, the self-direction, all of these things are going to kind of help them be a great adult.
And it brings money for field trips.
This has changed me in a lot of ways, including my talking skills, public talking skills as well. Like before, I would even be scared to even talk in front of a group of people or even just one person. But now I can talk to a lot of people.
The greatest thing about this program is that they are getting to do things that most of us didn't get to do until we were in college.
I gained a lot of people's skills. I've talked to a lot of businesses. I've got job referrals.
All of you really had compelling ideas, and I want to give you each a round of applause for that.
KCPS says this program significantly increases sophomore grad rates. Many more now on track to graduate.
This could have been any school, but they chose us to have 3D.
From Northeast High School, I'm Megan Abundis, KSHP 41 News.
So Northeast, right now they're in their 3rd year, so next year will be their 4th year. We're also looking at expanding this to one of our other schools in the district. So, you know, these are things that actually set us apart, not only from the charters and other schools in this metro area, but schools throughout the entire state of Missouri. Another thing that we do is beyond the 4 walls, and that's really getting our students not just to do field trips, but to have educational experiences that go beyond just being in the classroom. So with our elementary students, one of the culminating trips that we take, our experiences, is going to Junior Achievement BizTown. And this allows those younger students to be able to get an idea of what it means to be part of the workforce, what it means to be part of government, and it's almost like having a small city, small community. As we move into high school, however, one of the culminating experiences that we have is going to New York with 50 of our seniors. And this trip, we pay for all the expenses. We take care of airfare, we take care of the accommodations for hotels, food. The other thing is that we're going not just to see the city, but to learn some history about different parts of New York, to go to Ellis Island, we go to Harlem, as well as going to see a couple of plays on Broadway. For most of these students, they've never left the state, let alone go to someplace like New York and have these kinds of experiences. So this is going to continue. We're going to take another group of students this year, and these are just the ways that we're not only just investing in our students' education, but just life experiences. Now, as I said, advanced placement and dual credit are ways that we really get our students prepared for that next level. You know, what's going to come after high school. With our advanced placement or AP courses, this is a test that they take to give them the ability to get college credits. With our dual credit courses, these are high school students taking college courses. So with their completion of the college course, they will get that college credit. And with the dual credit courses, all of the universities in Missouri would accept those courses. Looking at the number of courses that we have, you can see that we have a variety of advanced placement courses that stem from our fine arts all the way through science, going into some of the social sciences, as well as dual credit courses, again, starting with some of the math courses, some of the social science courses, getting into entrepreneurship, theater, which is something that was new added just this year, as well as, again, some of the world language courses as well. Now, in addition to having these types of opportunities in the school, we also have a center where we really look at those industries that our students can get into without having a college degree. And so we start developing a lot of these skills, but also start to make the connection between our students and these industries at our Manual Tech Center. And again, these are offered to all of our students, regardless of whatever school they attend, whether it's a signature or a neighborhood. And if you notice, we've also added new programming in HVAC, as well as manufacturing and the health sciences. College access specialist. Do you want to deal with this, or you want me to handle it? Okay, great. Well, I'm bringing up Dr. Ford now, and she will talk about other programs.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Pamela Ford, and I'm here just to give you an overview of our college access specialists. So at each of the high schools, we have individuals who work with our high school students as they prepare for their transition from high school on to college. And so we provide tours, we assist with students completing their college applications, working with them in writing their essays, as well as completing the FAFSA, which we know for many of our students do qualify. So that's about $6,700 a year that goes toward college, as well as again, looking at those particular interests of the students. We work with the historical Black colleges, as well as the Hispanic Foundation. Because we are a free and reduced school district, 100%, there are fee waivers for any student who wish to apply to a college. There's just a form that they would just go and speak with the college access specialist. We also help students prepare for those college placement exams, such as if they're wanting to apply for additional scholarships, we offer the ACT prep. As they prepare, we also provide the opportunity for students to actually take the ACT twice a year. And so they can take it up to 4 times. And we know we share with our students to understand how the ACT scores are calculated. So if they take it one time, they take it again. For certain areas, they look at their super score. And so those scores are used to really push students to be able to get additional scholarships. We also have the AccuPlacer, which some of the I will tell you the community colleges do use that particular assessment to determine if students are ready to go directly into college courses, as well as SAT. As I said before, we do offer test prep. We offer it throughout the district, after school, during school. And this year, we are partnering with UMKC. We're the partner. I don't know if you're familiar with Gear Up. It's a particular program that's specialized in helping students with the cohort being 7th grade this year, and they'll follow that group all the way to post-secondary, and they will be all throughout their experience working with them to expose them to different colleges, supporting families, offering tours, college visits with parents. So just a lot of wraparound support, as well as we work with our students to prepare resumes, as well as participate in career readiness workshops. So we recognize that sometimes students may need a different pathway to achieve graduation, to reach that point of graduating. So we offer non-traditional pathways. So we've talked about our neighborhood schools, we've talked about our signature schools, and so we have some additional programs. I'll start with the early college. This is a particular program that we have a partnership with Penn Valley, which is our partner, which is the Metropolitan Community College. So students apply to this particular program in the spring of their sophomore year. And so they must have a certain GPA. And so those students who participate in this particular program actually earn an associate degree before they graduate from high school, as well as their diploma. So when they walk away from high school, they've already completed 60 credit hours or more. And so then when they move on to the next post-secondary program, they're in there about 2.5 years. And so they've walked away now with a bachelor's degree under the age of 21 for some. And so that is a free program. We cover tuition, textbooks. The only thing we provide breakfast, lunch. We do not offer transportation. And so we work with families to help, provide access to different transportation options available. Then we have the middle college program. We have some, there are sometimes, hey, I just want to get out of school. I just need a different pathway to be successful. I need to get to this. This is my goal. And so we have a program called the middle college program for students who are 17 and older. And so we offer that particular program in partnership with Penn Valley. What makes this such a unique program, students are able to complete and earn their high school diploma by completing the HiSET, which is the GED test. Now the GED test is also included. Or they can go about just completing the remainder of their high school credits, which is for us 24 credits, and as some of the other additional graduation requirements, such as their end-of-course exams. Those are a part of the graduation requirements. And so once those students complete this particular program, in partnership with FEC, those particular individuals are able to receive scholarships. So FEC provides scholarships, MCC provides scholarship for students, as well as textbook scholarships. And so that is just a unique partnership, just, again, a non-traditional pathway for students. Then we also offer Evening Academy. We do have students sometimes that may have children, and it's a little challenging, or there may be some other circumstances that prevent them from coming to our traditional programs. And so we do offer Evening Academy. It's from 1:30 to 4:30. It's at our Truth Center, right off of 59th and Truth. We do provide transportation. We do provide dinner or lunch for students. They attend there for 3 hours, and then they continue their work on our online system, which is called Edgenuity. And so they continue to work through and earn credits. And so it is a credit-based program, so that means that they must meet the 24 credits as well as the other graduation requirements. And then within the high school, there are sometimes students are a few credits short. And so in each of the high schools, we have a grad coach or a grad teacher. So students may be going through their traditional schedule, but maybe they're short 2 or 3 credits from meeting the graduation requirements. And so this is online coursework that students complete through Edgenuity. It has been aligned with the state standards, and so students complete those hours to be able to earn the credits needed. And so those are within those schools, and so that is how a student can still come in, maybe short credits, but still graduate on time. And then the last one is for some of our students who are interested, as well as our families and parents and community, we do offer adult ed. We have 2 locations. We have our location at the Penn Valley campus as well as the Truce campus. We have from 9 to 12 and 6 to 9. And so this particular program allows students to earn their high school equivalency certificate and then go on to, again, we partner with different colleges. And so most of our families who do participate either go to our campus there at Penn Valley, so there's an easy transition, or if there are families who are interested in acquiring English skills, we do offer ESL classes as well. So you can earn your high school diploma as well as increase your English proficiency. And so these are just our non-traditional pathways because we want to make sure that we're allowing students to be successful no matter what. We understand that our students, our families, and things happen. And so we don't want students to feel like they don't have a way out or there's not an end goal or support provided. And I will tell you, as part of our graduation requirements, and if a student graduates on time, we do have a program called the GRIP. It is a graduation recognition program where students can earn up to $250 if they graduate on time and everything goes well. They get to walk across the stage. They actually get that $250 is in a gift card. So we know that paying for the student senior fees tend to be a little challenging for some families. So that is an opportunity, and so students are able to walk away with additional funds that can help assist them as they are making their transition either into the workforce or going to college, or if they're going into the military. So those are just some of the things we offer here at KCPS that I think are phenomenal that you don't find at a charter school. All right, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Faulkner, and she's going to talk about our fine and performing arts. Thank you.
Good morning. All right. So I am Nola Faulkner. That is me. Here we go. So we have some wonderful partnerships throughout the Kansas City Public Schools. With our fine arts, we partner with the Nelson's Akin Museum, as well as Arts Tech, and then the American Jazz Museum. I know with a lot of professional developments with our art teachers, they do a lot with Arts Tech. We partner with them as far as when the students are doing like kilts and sculptures and things. So we do a lot of wonderful, exciting things with them. Within our visual arts, students are learning about the elements of arts and prints. Oh, what did I just do? Okay, yep. So they learn about the elements of arts and principles of design, drawing, painting, sculptures, infused technology, all that wonderful stuff. Then with general music, we partner with the Harmony Projects, Palin Music, KC Strings, and our Sprouts. Those are more of our instrumental music partnerships, but the students are learning about music theory, dictation, rehearsal, performances, because it's a very important, when you're in performing arts, I mean, the word of performing is in the word. So making sure that kids understand how to present themselves in person, on stage. Usually they have an alter ego, I do. So it's just a good thing to kind of understand what you're supposed to be doing on stage. With our instrumental music, of course, again, we do partnership with the American Jazz Museum, the District on 18th and Vine, A-Flat Music, KC Jazz Alive, and the Burnett Music. So again, they're learning about music technology, composition, rehearsals, and performancing, the foundation part of improvisation, and music history. With vocal music, again, here are our partnerships with Lyric Opera, the, I can never say that word, you can see it, choir, and the Missouri State University. So they are doing large, small group ensembles. So the goal is with our general music, we have 4th, 5th, and 6th grade in our elementary schools. And at that time, they get to pick if they want to do general music, which is at vocal music, band, or orchestra. And so they have it where we have teachers that come in and teach them the foundations of all that, and they get to pick. And from there, kind of streamline into middle school and high school. So within those 4th and 5th graders, they are working on like those small group ensembles. So they're learning the history. They even have keyboard as well as the competition and concert rehearsals. With dance, we have Friends of Alvin Ailey, KC Ballet, UMKC, and Take the Stage. We do have a lot of partnerships where we have actual teachers teaching our students through there. And they're learning about flexibility, the fine and gross motor skills, displaying all those different coordinations that they need to take the stage and become very excellent performers. With theater, we have the Kaufman Foundation, Starlight, and the Black Rep Theater of KC. So they're working with small group performances, memorization, narration, role play with partners, and a lot of field experiences. We have some field trips set with Starlight that I'm looking very forward for them to see, because when I was in school, actually here, that's where I was kind of first saw theater. And I took the stage for the first time as a 2nd grader, so it can happen. And then I went to the Middle School of the Arts and I graduated from Paseo. So when you're exposed to things like that, because I've never had that before, it just kind of trickles and it becomes who you are as a person. So in middle school, here are our courses that we take. So dance, orchestra, choir, theater, and band. From there, you can kind of see the levels that they have at each particular school, because they do offer different things. Whereas as in our African-centered, they do African dance. But then at our other middle schools, we have foundations of ballet at Northeast as well as Central and Lincoln. And then you have, of course, beginner, intermediate, and it gets a little bit advanced in some. Paseo's going to offer a little bit more because that is a school that is for fine and performing arts. Shout out to Paseo. And within our high school, here's the same thing here. A little bit more. African Dance and Cheer at Southeast, Foundations of Ballet, Intermediate Cheers at Lincoln. So there's a different variety. So when you are picking your secondary, kind of think about that if you know who your child is and what they kind of like to do. So at the secondary level, we do have our orchestra expansion with the youth symphony. So at our middle school, we have teachers that are from the symphony at Central Middle and Northeast Middle. And then at our high school, it is at Southeast, Northeast, East, and Central. So these are instructors or people who play in the symphony who are actually our teachers that are teaching our students about those instruments. And then with dance, Friends of Alvin Ailey. I remember going there when I was in middle school. So, and I'm glad that they're still around. So we have them at our middle school as well as our high school. They do host a summer camp every summer. That is, I want to say that is free for students to go to. They just have to sign up, but they do have actual dancers from Alvin Ailey that do teach our students about all the wonderful things of Alvin Ailey and ballet. And then on our theater and our vocal side, we have the lyric opera. One of the ladies here, Miss Thomas, she is the vocal director at Lincoln College Prep, and she's doing an amazing job. She is renowned. So she's at Lincoln Prep, and then we have a lyric opera theater teacher at Central Middle. So I don't know about you, but a lot of school districts don't offer having like Kansas City's own in a classroom. So I think that's an amazing thing that we can give our students, because like I said, when I was growing up, I didn't have any, I got exposed to this, but I didn't have an actual people that were actually doing the work in my classroom. So I think that is an amazing thing. All right, so up next we have Ms. Nyla Buck on athletics. Give it up.
I'm gonna see if I can be as enthusiastic as she is. Thank you so much for being here this morning. My name is Naila Bullock, and I am with the District Athletic Office. We have Mr. Lee Myers as the overstanding supervisor for athletics, and then Mr. Roger Franks as well as Assistant District Athletic Director. So, elementary, this is middle school. So if you have any little ones that are coming up later on, or into the elementary setting, we have a great program that we started about 2 years ago with elementary sports, where we partnered with these partners here to bring the activities to our schools. Della Lamb has been gracious enough to provide their coaches to be able to provide skill level training for our kids, in addition to working with our PE teachers who have had the ability to work with the kids within fine motor skills, but then they bring the skills training, the knowledge and the base of what that sport looks like again said, through basketball, as well as flag football and now tackle football that they're going to encourage. With tackle football, that's coming, and that will be with our older kids, like the 4th and 5th graders. We also partner with Link. As you heard earlier, we have Link programs that are in all of our elementary schools. And so with that, they help us with getting the kids engaged into all the programming. And so they have all the sports that we have at every school as well. Mentality Volleyball Club, they're a premier volleyball club in the area, and so of course they initiated the volleyball. And we actually have a camp coming up this Saturday where kids ages 8 through 14, so you're basically your 2nd graders through 8th graders could come in on a every other week basis for 4 weeks to learn some next level skills training in the volleyball sport, in the game of the sport of volleyball, excuse me. We also work with the Greater Kansas City Boys and Girls Club. So when we were doing basketball, flag football, baseball and softball, we work through them with the different tournaments and leagues that we offer. And they are the ones that provide the registration, the locations, and just kind of the brass learning depot for all of our sports. They're basically our sports hub when it comes to all the sports that we offer for elementary. Coming to Kansas City Royals, they are our people that we work with through Urban Youth Academy down off of 18th and Vine area. And so they have actually come into our schools during the link hours in the evenings, and they go to all of our schools that we have piloted with. And I say piloted because we have selected, as each year that we have matriculated to provide elementary sports, we actually have selected at least 5 different schools each year to add on to our programming. And so they're at most of all of our schools now with baseball and softball clinics and camps going on. This is just a link here if you have any other kids that are not at the middle school level, high school level, if they are interested, to basically click on the QR code and then they can sign up and register through the, I'm sorry, I'm thinking I'm here, so thank you, through the link so they can register for any of the sports that we have to offer. Secondary sports, this is the fun part. So most of our schools offer all sports. We have cross-country, tackle football, which was started last year for the first year, so that we're going into our second year, actually finishing this weekend with our sports. At our middle school level, we play on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and that's for all of our sports. So Wednesdays, going into basketball season now, some of our schools do have wrestling. Northeast and Lincoln will have wrestling this year for middle school. All of our schools have volleyball. In the next year, 2026, we will be offering middle school volleyball for boys because we do have an offer that at the high school level. And with high school volleyball for boys, actually, it was just sanctioned with the state of Misha. I'm stumbling over my words today. But with Misha, we actually just sanctioned it with the state. And so we have five now, 5 of our schools that offer boys volleyball. Let's see here. Cheer and dance actually go through the spring, all seasons for cheer and dance because they do all their competitions in the springtime. Basketball, of course, we have boys and girls, track and field, boys and girls. We do offer swim, and so for swim, we do have that through all of our seasons. Boys' seasons is actually about to end here there in the fall, and then for the winter is the girls' season, and then in the spring again is middle school. At all of our sites, middle school and high school, you have site coordinators. So those are the ones that kind of just report to us at the next level. And so these are all your site coordinators. So if you have any questions about how they could actually get involved into sports, when are tryouts coming up, any information that they have going on at their school, these are the ladies and gentlemen that you can contact and communicate with. I'm not saying that you cannot contact and communicate with the coaches, but they're the direct reports that know everything that's going on with all their activities at their schools. These are just some wonderful pictures of some different activities that we've had going on. We'd like to toot their horn. They're doing a fabulous job. Last year with Central Middle School, they won the championship for tackle football. They did great. We had about, each year with our middle school activities, we have great numbers that come out. So with tackle football, we had about 50 to 60 kids participating across the border at the 4 schools that we do offer tackle football. Our cheer programs have been doing great. Basketball as well. As you can see, the young lady, she's phenomenal. And it's just, all of our sports. At the state high school, state meets for track and field, cross country, we did a great job in the last year. We had a state track winner from Lincoln High School. These are just kind of just all the pictures that all of our kids are just happily participating in. Kind of just give you that. Boys volleyball going through, so just really unique experiences that we have. Girls volleyball, Lincoln, great platform, I have to say that. Yeah, see that? Yeah, that's awesome. Baseball at Lincoln, Central, East High School, and Northeast, excuse me. And then last year, in 25 years, was the first time in a while that our basketball programs of any of our schools went to our state appearances. And so that was with Central High School. They took 4th place. I think that's really good. Please clap it up. And they're doing great. So all of our programs are becoming more better as we're getting great coaches coming in. Right, Dr. Jones? Yeah. Just recently, we were able to take some of our ladies, not just soccer participants, but young ladies that were interested in learning a little bit more about sideline the stigma, like what it is to get into sports and help tackle the mental stigma around how to compete, just how to just be better in the sport. And so we took about 40 kids across the area from KCPS, and we went to the wonderful stadium of the KC Current, and they got to engage with kids, not kids, excuse me, well, kids from other areas, but also had the opportunity to interview and meet with some of the KC Current athletes. They fed them there. They actually worked out on the field with them, with their trainer that trains the KC Current. So I just think that it's just great to see some of the different activities down at this area. We incorporated girls flag football for the high school setting. And so we know that in the next couple of years, that will also be a MISHA sanctioned sport. And so we were actually one of the first districts in the area to actually incorporate it. So we're very excited about that. And all of our schools will actually have girls flag football starting next year. And yeah, let's keep going. He sent a lot of pictures. Very proud of him. All right. And this is our state champ, Liliani Payton. She graduated from Lincoln last year. She's at Tuskegee University, and she is playing tennis, and she's a phenomenal athlete. So if you're ever around, or check out the schedule and watch her down at Tuskegee University. We try to follow all of our athletes as they are moving on to post-secondary, so we encourage them to continue to pursue their dreams. And of course, our football teams. I'm just going to click. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go fast through this, but before I do, I want to let you all know I will be sending you this deck. We're recording this session, so you'll have it if you want to look at it again. But hopefully you're realizing there is so much that you get when you attend a Kansas City Public School. So real quick, I'm also a parent in this district. I had students that started at P3. One is about ready to graduate from Mizzou, and one's getting ready to graduate from Paseo this year. So I'm very familiar with what it feels like to be a parent in this district. And one of the things that was really important to me was making sure I felt my students were safe when they came to school. So I threw this slide in this morning because at one of our earlier sessions, someone said it's important to hear about what it is Kansas City Public Schools does to make sure that our schools are places that are safe. So, of course, we do safety drills like everybody else. I know they at least do them every semester, if not every quarter. We have secure entrances. These were installed a couple of years ago to secure the front office so that when you check in through our Hall Pass visitor management system, which, by the way, gets updated every evening, that's how we check visitors in to make sure that they should be allowed in. There is a secure area there before you're actually let in past the front office. We also do screening at all of our secondary schools, so that would be middle and high schools. That is, students are screened in the morning as they come in themselves, but also now we have the same screeners that they use at the airports to check bags and backpacks. So also doing perimeter checks as well. We have school resource officers. At the elementary schools, they're really just the officers that patrol in that area. So if needed, they can be on call. So they're not physically in the school. But at the middle school and the high schools, we actually have assigned officers at those schools as well. And something new, I think it is new as of like the spring of last year, is that Centegix system. So all of our schools, I don't know if you can see me pointing to the little, it's almost like a light in the sky. It flashes different colors. We all have, staff wears badges so that we can signal. There's 3 different types of signals based on what's going on. If like there's a spill and it's a safety, water on a stairway, that's a 1. And that'll go off and they know where you are and they can go clean it up and make sure that nobody falls. All the way to intruder in the building. So that is something that's new in all of our schools as well. But I just wanted to make sure parents knew it's a layered system. And for me as a parent, I feel very comfortable having my child coming in and out of the building. I'm going to bring up, did she walk out? Ms. Travana Alexander. She's going to talk next about counseling and the student supports that we have. And I like her to kind of follow this because there is also, we know that in our schools these days, we want to make sure that we're addressing if there are any situations with students feeling bullied or threatened, that That's why we have the student supports organization department that has the counselors and the trauma clinicians and I'll actually just, is she right there? Oh, she's coming. I'll switch over to her. I know she's got some challenges these days. So I'll turn it over to the very capable Travana Alexander Tony.
Thank you so much.
Here's your clicker.
Okay, great. Let me make sure. All right. I might not be there when you call, but I'm always on time. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? So good morning, everyone. Okay, my name's been added. I was starting off with I am not Josie Herrera. My name is Travana Alexander Tony. I am the Director of Behavioral Health with Kansas City Public Schools. And what we do here is, to be quite honest, before I even get into the slide deck, Kansas City Public Schools is the leader in the state of Missouri in providing trauma-informed care and supports to students in our school district. We have adopted the trauma-informed Missouri model for trauma-informed schools, which was created by the Department of Elementary Secondary Education and a number of other community organizations that really provide a guidance to what it looks like to create welcoming, culturally inclusive environments, learning environments for our students. So y'all remember that, because that's important. Because without social emotional learning, there is no academic learning. So next time somebody throw that at y'all know how to respond. So our student support teams really focus on 4 different areas, and you'll see them up here. There's social emotional learning, which is really teaching students how to identify what their feelings are, how to accurately communicate that, and how to just engage with others. So self-management, social management, making good decisions. We also have behavioral support, which is when we have students who are presenting with behaviors that may be disruptive to the learning environment. Most often we see that in our younger students who may be pre-K, just entering school, maybe an only child, have been used to getting their way, and when they have structure in the classroom, they may tantrum or something like that. We're teaching and we're addressing those with evidence-based strategies. We also provide academic supports. That's going to be with our individuals who are really focused on academics, our school psychs, our school counselors, and then there's also attendance, because we want students to be at school every day for the whole day, because that's when they benefit most from the learning. So in order to really provide the comprehensive supports to students in those 4 areas, we employ a multi-tier student support process. Now that's a lot of words. What it essentially means is we have different levels of interventions. We have different people who provide different things. So this is just a brief snippet of some of the supports that we have in each of our schools. We have Tier 1 supports, which means this is something that every student gets, no matter if it's pre-K, elementary, secondary, high school. The Tier 2 supports are going to be supports that's for students who may need just a little bit more support, right? Some things that every student doesn't experience and every student doesn't need. Our Tier 3 supports are going to be supports for students that that need intensive one-to-one interventions. So they're really struggling with their behavior management, or they have some community stressors that's really impacting their ability to be successful in the classroom and regulating themselves. And we have licensed individuals such as myself who provides those supports and services to them. So some of the support roles are up there. I will not read them all, but our teachers are critical in this MTSS. They are the first point of support for our students. We also have school counselors, school psychs, our trauma-sensitive school clinicians, which are all licensed clinical social workers or licensed professional counselors in our schools, which is also something that not all schools have. You may have school counselors, you may have a school social worker, but they may not have a clinical license, which means that we can do therapy, y'all. So your students are getting quality supports. So what does it look like when we talk about these tiered supports, right? So we have Tier 1, as I mentioned, every student gets. That's creating safety and a sense of belonging and relationships in the classroom and in the learning environment as a whole. That may include community meetings for teachers to get to know their students. So if they present at school and they're not quite acting themselves, they'll know that something's going on, something has happened, and they can tap into that to that student. That student will feel safe enough to speak with them. It also includes establishing those strong relationships. What it looks like for our social emotional support team is our counselors pushing in.
During those SEL lessons, we have adopted the Rethink Ed curriculum, which provides social-emotional learning for our students, which teaches them the language to identify their behaviors, their feelings, and so they can communicate that to them so we can know how best to assist them. Oftentimes, if you ask little ones how they're feeling, they're like, good, okay, I'm happy, I'm mad, but there's an array of feelings, right? And we want them to be able to tap into those so we can know exactly how to best support them. Our tier 2 is, again, for these interventions that not every student is going to need. So these are students that may have an identified need for additional support for academics. There's 504s or IEP plans to support that. There are students who we know does better if they're not sitting right next to their friend that they get on the bus with and live right next door to them. So there's some preferred seating. We'll sit you all over here, and then you'll do well, and then at recess, y'all could come back together. Emotional support, what that looks like is us providing small groups for students who may have presented with an inability to manage their anger. When they get angry, they may lash out, or when they get angry, they may run out. We want to have groups so that we're providing that support and teaching replacement behaviors. When we have this feeling, we want to replace this behavior of running out with the behavior of using our words or raising my hand, which raising hand is not a good example. That don't really work when you're angry. Anybody just sitting here and raise their hand, right? We as adults may struggle with that, so imagine students. But we have specific interventions that help, and part of that is giving those replacement behaviors. We also provide a social-emotional screener, and we do have students that present with some thoughts and use words of wanting to hurt themselves, and we provide those screenings for them, right? So we can know what level of intervention they need. It also includes Tier 3. So this Tier 3 is not just for students who are at risk for failing, it's also for students who are experiencing mental health crises. Right? So we provide Tier 3 in a number of ways. Of course, there's the academic, which may include a referral to our MTSS team, which is going to explore all academic interventions that can be provided, but it also includes clinical interventions for those students experiencing mental health crises, right? So we do home visits. We provide brief counseling, therapy, and support. We also refer to our community-based organizations to provide that wraparound from school to home, because everything can't happen at school and everything can't happen in the community. We'll need to be able to have continuity in both. So we're here to take care of our students comprehensively. In addition to our clinicians, because individuals often ask what's the difference between a trauma clinician and a school counselor. So I've kind of said it a couple times today, clinicians are licensed clinical professionals. School counselors are individuals who have a degree in school counseling. They really have a focus on academics, but they can also provide some of that social-emotional learning support. So the basic things about identifying your feelings, naming them, self-management, and those things. They also apply a lot of academic strategies and interventions, and they are the ones that really guide and lead those Tier 2 interventions, such as 504 plans and IEP plans. At the elementary level, though, because school counselors are not going to do the same thing in elementary that they do in secondary, right? No, because we're dealing with different kids. They're more developed, they're less developed, so there are different needs. At the elementary level, we're really focusing on that SEL. We want them to learn how to use their replacement behaviors. We want them to learn to use words to describe their feelings and what they're experiencing. And we also want them to learn to use the replacement behaviors that they're being taught. So that's occurring through classroom lessons on social skills and academic success. And we've adopted the evidence-based curriculum, Rethink Ed. So y'all can look that up if y'all want and see everything. But really, CASEL really guides that work. Our middle school counselors, so middle school, who remember middle school? Raise your hand. I know y'all remember middle school now, because we was all going through a transition. Y'all probably needed Tier 2 interventions in middle school, okay? I know I did. But middle school is where you have this developmental transition with our students. And so our school counselors are really working on ensuring they have a strong sense of self, providing that support, and also doing a prep work to prepare them for what high school is going to look like, how to be successful there, and start the development of that 6-year plan, right, through high school and afterwards. So there's really a focus on the academic and career advising, the social emotional learning, and then the collaboration with the parents and teachers for that successful transition to high school. I know y'all like those additives, huh? It's keeping y'all awake? Yes, no, maybe so. Y'all gotta wake up in here. Okay, so our high school counselors, y'all already know. What's the focus? Ding, 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 ding. College and career readiness. We want to make sure they're on track to graduate. We want to make sure they have the strong plan of where they're going. They're focusing on those PSATs, those ACTs, all those grade tests, and they're making sure that our students have a plan for success into adulthood, post-high school, right? And so that's extremely important. And so that's the focus in addition to providing social emotional support, which is why at our schools, you have this robust team of individuals, because we know this is a lot of work when you think about a high school and the number of students that are there. So if there's some social emotional or community stresses that's presenting, the school counselor, they may not have the capacity to deal with that, and then that's when they tap into their clinician. So working collaboratively to meet the comprehensive needs of our students is key. And so I'm gonna tell y'all right now, KCPS is leading the work in that. You go to some other school districts, you're not gonna have someone like myself who has a very great big personality, but is also a licensed clinical social worker leading this work, all right? And I'm gonna hand it over to Ms. Shyla Lewis, who is Director of Admissions, who is gonna tell y'all all about getting your student enrolled if they're not already, and keeping them enrolled if they are already.
Thank you, thank you. Fabulous introduction, thank you. All right. As she stated, I'm Shyla Lewis, Director of Admissions. So we're just gonna talk briefly about the enrollment process. So you guys been hearing a lot this morning. You heard about the signature schools, you heard about the neighborhood schools. So now the most important piece is, how do I enroll for one of these fabulous schools? So we have two different schools, or two different types of schools, as you heard, the neighborhood schools, signature schools. So first we're gonna talk about the neighborhood school. So how do I determine what my neighborhood school is? It's very easy. We have a tool on our website, it's the School Finder tool. You go to our website, kcpublicschools.org, you click enroll, you type in your address, find your school, and it will it'll show you what your neighborhood school is. Again, this is just right on the website. Enter the address, select your child's grade, hit find, and you can find elementary, middle, and high school neighborhood on that. And it'll list other schools as well, but this will specifically tell you what your neighborhood school is. So these are some important dates that we have to remember. So we are kicking off school year 26 enrollment on Saturday, November 9th, which is roughly about 2 weeks away. So Saturday, November 9th is when you can start applying or enrolling for a school for school year 26. So the difference, neighborhood schools, you're just gonna enroll. Signature schools, it's a lottery. And so we do a weighted lottery here in KCPS. And so the deadline to enter for the lottery will be February 14th on Valentine's Day. So, all right now. February 14th is the deadline for signature school lottery. Notifications in the lottery will be ran on February 24th, and then you'll have 2 weeks to accept your seat. We will be here on Saturday, November 9th, right here in this room. The admissions office will be here. We'll be here from 1:30 to 3:30. And actually, I think I got a slide about that. But we will be here assisting families with completing the application. Now, if you are interested in right now in enrollment, you can come here and we can get you all set up too. So you don't have to wait till school year 26. Now, the only thing is, like for signature schools, we do have some schools that are already at capacity or no longer accepting students this school year. So you have to do that for school year 26. But if you're interested in your neighborhood school, come down to admissions and see us. These are the required documents that you need. We need your photo ID, your proof of residency, student's birth certificate, student's immunization records, and school records if you're applying for a signature school. Again, we're doing an enrollment kickoff, so we're going to actually be in 2 locations on that Saturday. It'll be a busy day. We are partnering with our good friends over at Show Me KC Schools. They are a community organization that helps family navigate the school system in the Kansas City area. And so every year they host a city school fair at the downtown library. And it has a whole bunch of schools that are set up with representatives there. You could go there, learn about the schools. So we will be there. KCPS will have some schools there as well. That's from 10 to 1. And then we'll be down here in this room from 1:30 to 3, helping families enroll for next school year. Again, our offices are right here. The admissions office, you passed them when you was coming into this room. We are the ones down there with that big blue, I don't know what that is on the window. Big blue, I think it's KCPS, something like that. All right. Right there, we're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. We have 4 admission specialists that will be able to assist you. We got 2 bilingual admission specialists. And so we are always willing to help families. We have kiosks set up out there, so you don't have to do anything. Just bring your documents. We'll put you on the computer, and you'll be all set to complete your enrollment. So I think now we are going into questions. So if anyone has any questions, we still have some representatives here from other departments. And if anyone has any questions. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So for enrollment specifically, just so we can capture it. Thank you. For enrollment specifically, if your child is currently enrolled in a school that goes up to 6th grade, right? But maybe we're thinking about middle school. If we enroll her into middle school just to sort of maybe ensure a seat, but then later decide maybe this isn't the right fit, will she lose her spot at her current school? Or like, how would that work?
So if she's currently enrolled in our district, she will automatically be enrolled into her neighborhood school for next year. So you don't have to do anything. Now, if you are trying to enroll her, say, into Lincoln Middle, and you're offered a seat, then she would go to Lincoln Middle. But say things don't work out at Lincoln Middle, she could always go back to her neighborhood school. Is that what you're asking?
What if it's a signature school?
If it's a signature school, so once you accept that seat, then you do lose the seat at the other. So you can apply to up to 4 schools. So say you apply for Lincoln Middle and FLA, Foreign Language Academy, and you accept a seat at Lincoln Middle, then you will lose your spot at Foreign Language Academy. But you can always reapply, but you might be put on the wait list, if there is a wait list. Yep. Thank you. Any more questions?
So for the New York program, or I think it was a program, or was it a field trip? Are you expanding that to more than 50 students? And what, other than the 3.25 GPA, what other criteria does it take?
So with that trip, part of the reason that we have to cap it at 50 is, 1, trying to get everybody on the plane, and 2, just having that adult supervision. I mean, we are in New York City, and we're going to be using public transit for certain things. But yes, besides the GPA, there are behavioral issues that come into play. You can't be suspended and things of that nature. There's also some recommendations that also come from teachers. So it's not as if that is the only criteria for allowing students to go. But as far as the number of students, it's pretty much going to be capped at 50, just because of the risk that would be involved in trying to get more students to go.
Okay. I was just going to, because there's a lot of students.
Right, yeah.
50, yeah, that's a small number.
Oh, yeah. And getting on and off subways, because I've gone there before, that in itself is an ordeal and a half.
I can imagine. Yes.
Now, if you know somebody who was willing to donate, that we could do like 2 or 3 trips. Talk to Dr. Phil.
Another question I had was, I didn't see anything mentioned as far as an entrepreneurial type of education or programs. Maybe if somebody can touch in on that if I missed that.
So we have entrepreneurial classes in all of our schools, but we also have it through CTE. In addition to that, 3DE, one of its veins is to really link students to local business owners. And so just like that young lady was saying, we have client connection opportunities that occur multiple times. So we have students right now who are speaking with the folks at Worlds of Fun, but then we have some other smaller companies that students are working with as well, where they're getting ideas of how to even promote their own brands. There's a young lady, she wasn't in the video, but she's a current junior. Her brother does screen prints of shirts. And some of the things that she learned with 3DE, she actually told her brother about. At first, he was like, I'm not gonna do this, but as she started talking about it more and more and more, he started to take on some of those, okay, maybe there are different ways that I could do advertising. So one of the things that she does is she wears his stuff all the time and promote him, not only throughout the district, but especially when she goes on these 3DE trips and she meets with these business owners. She also promotes her brother's clothing line as well. So yeah, it's not only just embedded in the schools, but again, we have programs dedicated at Manual Tech and 3DE that look at entrepreneurship specifically.
I'm glad he asked that, because one thing that I was thinking about as y'all were talking is, I appreciate the entrepreneurship program. Are students allowed to kind of maybe explore entrepreneurship programs maybe provided through Kansas City's ESOs? Like, for example, the Porterhouse KC just have a cohort of like an entrepreneurial training, like boot camp, basically. So are students sort of allowed to maybe identify those things and say, hey, can I pursue this? Maybe and get some credit for it?
So we have a real world learning director that looks at that. There are some caveats about what can count as a course. However, the state of Missouri does allow us to have, I think it's almost kind of like a work study kind of designation, and depending on how we put everything in writing or what we get signed, there is a way, there is an avenue for students throughout the state of Missouri, but with our district in particular, to get credit for doing work study with a company. Now, one of the things that you have to consider is transportation, because that is something for us that is kind of like a linchpin. It's hard to get a student there, but if the student has the ability to do that, to get to that site, there is an avenue, there is a way of doing that, and we could work through the director of real world learning to get that done for that student so that they could get the credit. Okay. Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be real world learning for at a company, right? It can be, if that student has some entrepreneurial endeavors that they want to pursue, that real world learning can also include learning about entrepreneurship?
So you still have to have a company, a business owner to sign off if they're trying to get credit. If they're just trying to investigate, yeah, they can investigate it, but it would not lead to a high school credit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. I'm sorry, y'all. Last question, at least for me. So I saw the slide about manual tech and all of those opportunities there. Can a student maybe attend, like, for example, Paseo or Lincoln or whatever it is, and then maybe take some classes at manual tech?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have students that do that. And that's one reason why I was saying that manual tech is open to all of our students throughout the district, and we do provide transportation between whatever their home school is, manual tech, and then back. So there's an AM session and a PM session. I would definitely say that would be something that we have to be able to fit in the schedule, and that's also one reason why with summer school we sometimes suggest that students take some summer school courses, especially at like Lincoln or Paseo, to kind of free up their year. But it's the junior and the senior year where most of those students can take those courses. as well as doing some of the dual credit courses over at MCC or UMKC.
Is there any flexibility outside of junior, senior year? Like what if they want to start looking into things like as like a 7th grader, 8th grader?
No, unfortunately, 7th and 8th graders, yeah, not so much. And even with the freshmen and the sophomores, we want to make sure that they're on track to graduate. So there are some core courses that they need to get out of the way before they can, move into, those other courses that would expand what they can do college and career-wise.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll try to I think we can wrap this up. I just appreciate you guys coming out today. Hopefully this was very helpful. Who has the clicker? I have, again, I will send this out to you probably on Monday along with the recording. But to help us, if you guys wouldn't mind letting us know, this is 3 questions. It's a 3-star rating. And then what you liked, what you think we should improve on or add. We are adjusting our slide deck based on what you give us. So let us know, give us some feedback, but thank you for your time and take a pastry on your way out. Thanks so much.